Okay, guys. Good morning in Beijing. Good evening in LA. Good morning in the Middle East. Good morning, all AWFF friends. Thank you for being with us on a live Q&A with director Xiaodong Xie. And I'm honored to say that he is my friend for many years, and I'm so happy to have him here with us tonight to talk about his movie Trapped. And I will leave the Q&A to our moderator and friend also. Yeah, I have many friends, by the way. So just so you know, Chris Krisa. And thank you, Xiaodong, for letting us screen that beautiful movie. And Chris, you take it from here.
Okay, here we go. Xiaodong.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. I'm trapped here. I can't go anywhere.
Well, I can see you got a lot of light coming in through the window. At least the sky's clean, huh?
That's right. It's cold, chilly cold. It's like, what, 15 below?
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's really cold. It's really cold. Yeah.
I feel better now that you told me that. I feel warm. Thanks.
Yeah.
Your movie. Some questions for you about yourself and also about the movie. But first, you know, always the thing that comes to mind first for me when a director chooses a movie is because it's like another child. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of work. What made you decide to write this and to shoot this at this particular time?
Well, I was, that's obvious with this, something to do with pandemic. I was in America, and the early of this year, I went to Los Angeles in January. At that time, it was okay. It was nothing happened, so I didn't know anything going on. And all of a sudden, the pandemic started, and it's quarantined, it's all locked down. I could not go back to China, and basically all the flight was canceled, and all this news came out. It was like scary, and I thought, wow, in this situation which I had never been in before, I had never seen it before in my life. So I thought about it. All of a sudden, we are being locked down, and what kind of situation in terms of the impact on each individual that will be. That it's a very interesting thing. I mean, so I went back to China at the end of February. My flight was canceled 3 times. In the end, I was able to went back to Beijing. And so I wrote the script while I was in America. And so I just wanted to go back to China regardless. I want to shoot this movie within this situation, in the situation. So to at least to document this historical situation to myself as a memory. That's the first move I have in my mind. Yes.
Okay, and you chose a story, you know, about Wei Cao did a wonderful job as that character, but you picked that particular character to write this around, and there was other, you know, other people involved, obviously in many different other arenas. How did you focus in on that?
Well, actually, I was inspired or by a news. It's a truck driver. He left Wuhan the day before the things happened, and now he was basically trapped on a freeway. He could not go anywhere. This is news. So why write this news? that make me think what will happen to me if I was in that situation. Am I going to be frustrated? How frustrated I can be? What is even further deep inside my frustration is. So that make me thinking right away to do this script, and yeah, that's how it is. I think, yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I certainly felt his frustration, his fear, his confusion, his resentment, his anger, and all tempered with, well, how far can I push this before they arrest me? I mean, I felt all that, and it was wonderfully written. It was fast paced. It was believable. What kind of, I mean, did you have to give things up that you normally don't have to give up? You know, you probably had other films in mind, so you had to put those aside. Why did you assume you could shoot anything? Or how did that come apart that you were allowed to shoot during that pandemic?
Well, it was not allowed to do anything because it's quarantined. So we did as a guerrilla style, basically. We got a small camera. Basically, we hide it, and one is because basically there's nobody outside. This is an open space movie, so we keep everybody separated as far as possible, because actually this movie everybody wear the mask, right? So so we done this like a guerrilla style, and we shoot and we run. It was no restaurant is opening, and we basically bought everything, put in our car, and let's eat it outside. And it's like when we had a meeting for this prep meeting, we just stay outside in the winter time. It was cold, and we do all this drawing outside in the open space in the park. So it is tough. It is tough, but it's very unique experience. I have never had that before, and also while you're shooting this film, it's also make you think, what about I could not finish it? You know, it's like, what about something happened? It's like the frustration, you know. This is like you're in a wartime. It's just you don't know where the bullet from, you know. And it was so peaceful, but you're in a wartime basically. You know, you're isolated, you're separated. Yeah, that's something. Really is.
Yes, frightening, frightening.
Yeah.
Well, now some of your scenes were shot, you know, at these toll or at these gates, auto gates, and things were blocked off. Now, was that guerrilla too, or did you talk to the government and get permission to do that?
Well, all these gates, basically, it was abandoned gate by the freeway. So it was nobody there. So we just like set up our our things right there. And that's simple. It's very simple. It's like a desk, the banner. So we just put in our van, and the van basically also can be used as a police car or you know, emergency car, you know, van. So it's all abandoned. You know, that's the booth we used. It's not in use anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it came time and you finished it, and this is China's official submission in the short category for the Oscars, what did the committee say? They said, well, wait, how did you shoot this movie? Didn't they ask you, what'd you do?
They didn't ask me, but I told them it was guerrilla style shooting. They have a brief description of how to do it. So it's really sneak around and doing that bit. Yeah, the best part is whole movie, and you shoot in the open space. It's only one scene is in the room in his family, That was shoot after the quarantine is lifted. So we found a place to shoot it. So all the others is basically just open space.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you consider any other ways for him to try to get back? I mean, he promised he was going to come home, and he tried different routes, and he tried covering up the plate, and he tried begging. I mean, was there anything left that you thought, well, maybe we could just to show his insistence?
Well, the most frustrated thing is he has no way, and I have no way to go anywhere. Basically, there's zero chance.
Right.
You know, it was totally 100% locked down. It's like for myself, you know, my wife in England, my daughter is in America or in Europe, and we have 3 people in my family, each one in one different city, different country, and they cannot come back to China. I can't go outside of China. So it's like it's just being separated, being locked down. I mean, you have nowhere to go because just think about it. I mean, this pandemic is a thing. It separate people. It make the government do such kind of policy. But if you look around the whole world is basically being trapped. You know, I mean, you can't fly here, you can't fly there. It was like, I don't see any hope. But in the end, people got to make a living. You know, people got to stay survive. So in the end, I put some, you know, play soccer ball and you know, making sort of like, what can you do? You got to comfort yourself, right?
Right.
So that's the whole thing. It's like people talk to each other during the pandemic to comfort each other. That's the only thing they can do, basically.
Okay. Well, I have a question here from Ria Misra about the soccer ball, and does the final scene embody with the soccer ball? Is it a temporary escape or relate to bigger meaning within the context of the pandemic?
Well, I think one thing that one very important thing to keep human being to be survived in its long, many years history is the spiritual things. You got to be tough. You know, you got to stay positive. You got to stay hope. So that's the last shot basically expressed the hope. We gotta be rely on ourselves, you know, spiritually, basically. That what that means to me. Otherwise, what can I do? I mean, you lost hope, you lost everything. You know, once you lost hope, you lost everything. So that's the only thing you can, you know, hang on with, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, she has one more question here. We discussed the other one. With the vaccine in sight, do you see the pandemic affecting the industry in a significant way, even after the coronavirus is a thing of the past?
What do you say?
She asks, now with the vaccine in sight, do you see the pandemic affecting the industry? And I'm assuming she means the entertainment industry in a significant way after the coronavirus is a thing of the past.
Oh, sure, I will. All these theaters done, it's closed, right? And yeah, always have a big impact. And now you can see in America, all these big studio production house. They try to release their film on internet, small screen. That will hurt the theater, right? But the studio will say, I have to be alive first. And the theater, I don't know what's going to happen later on after pandemic. People will still go out to theater. At that time, if the theater or bankrupt, or it's not like certain percentage of theater bankrupt, then what's going to happen to whole theaters? Because I still believe you're shooting film for the big screen, because the big screen, I think the reason the film have such power impact on people is because there's no such thing you can sit in a dark room like 2 hours, and only thing you can watch is the big screen, the storytelling in front of you. The computer, the small screen, it can do that. It cannot do that. So if that thing's gone, it will be sad to me. It's very, very sad. So I wish things can come back, but now it is not good. Yes, not good.
Some places in the United States, I read that they're talking about bringing back the drive-in theaters, and I don't know if China ever had open air theaters. They didn't have a lot of
Well, the things in China is sort of different, because the unique way the Chinese government done to lock down everything nationwide for this war against pandemic is very effective. So the theater in China is basically opened start from July. So now for the box office for this year is like what? 200, what? Like what? I can't remember. I can't. Hard for me to translate. Like of $4 billion US, something like that. Yeah.
significant. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a half year, $4 billion US. That's pretty good. So the theater is open in China, but investment is very cautious because they don't know what's going to happen. Maybe in the springtime or in this coming month, will be shut down again. So the investment is very cautious. I believe also in America is very cautious too, because people, they put money into the movie and they want money back as soon as possible. But like, see, for example, another movie, Looking for Fortune. The movie was scheduled to be released at the end of last year, and then the post-production postponed a month. Then we got into pandemic. Then the whole investors bankrupt, everything, and so the movie now still staying idle. I mean, the movie is finished, but can't be released because the two investors bankrupt. So it just chaos. It got such chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of chaos, from what I've read here and seen, that there are very few people in China that violated the rules. I mean, they're supposed to stay inside. They stay inside. Here people are trying to. Americans always try to find a way to break the rules or do what they want to do, and almost all the people follow what was dictated. Correct?
This it's something not to do with the movie, but it's interesting topic. When you look at American people fighting against whether wearing a mask, to me that's ridiculous. People say, "Hey, this is my freedom." Then what about the safety belt while driving a car? Is that against your freedom?
Right.
I mean, why you wear the safety belt? The same thing, right? I mean, I just don't get it. So something I just don't understand it, and also for Chinese, I think this also to do with culture. And the Chinese have a culture over, a civilized culture over 3,000 or 4,000 years. So what does that mean? That means over these several thousand years, many crises people have gone through. So the way and the mentality and the way to deal with a crisis is sort of in your gene, So it's passed generation to generation to generations, and the people is very cautious about upcoming crisis. So they have the same money. So China have a high saving rate. People always have savings to prepare the unforeseeable, the coming, the crisis. But America only have like what 300 years history. In these past 300 years, America rarely have any crisis. So
Right.
people, never seen that kind of things before, basically. So the country, you have to go through all this difficult time to accumulate your knowledge and the mentally, and material preparation for yourself. That's what I think.
Right. Now, in my experience there in China, I've only been there once, but the people seemed very, very kind, and they were certainly helpful to me. Are they helpful to their neighbors and people in need? Is it when they're in crisis, are they willing to reach out and do what they can for each other, or is it pretty much you're on your own with your family?
Well, for this time, it's a different thing. See all this community, or we can say the village or community was locked down, right? And so they use the order online, so deliver that way. So I ask a lot of people how do you go through this crisis without income, without work? Do you have money? And basically, all the people I interviewed, they told me this is great. It's like vacation to us. we have been working outside so many years, no break. Now we have a 1 month leave. That's great. So that's interesting thing. Yeah. And as I told you, I can now say every family have savings, but I would say most of families have savings. So well, this is a long talk. Like China is agriculture type of country in the history. And so China have an old say, if you have harvest for 3 years, then you can have 1 year saving for the bad year. So in other words, everybody's save money. Right. So that's the culture. Yes.
Okay. I won't deal with this too much more because I know it's not in the movie, but it's interesting to me that my experience with the people there. For example, I was going to take the train from Beijing up to Shanghai, where the Great Wall goes into the sea.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went to buy a ticket, and of course I was having a hard time. And anytime I had a hard time, somebody would come and help me, just kindly, who spoke enough English to help me. And this lady, she helped me with the tickets and got me all set. And it took her a while, and I had an extra jacket, so I gave it to her. She didn't want to take it, but I said, please take this. She'd been very kind. So I come back the next morning at 7 a.m. to get on the train, and here she is with a bag of apples for me. And
because you're a foreigner. So if I'm there, they won't do that to me. That's the way they treat their guests. That's the culture, But I think in America, people are the same. If they're in the crisis, people will help each other. I think that's human nature, or the basic instinct to save this race. That's in America. I believe the same thing. You see the food court and the food line, people to pass out the food. That's the same, right?
I hope so, but I don't know that. But yeah, I hope so.
But yeah.
Let me ask this about your history, because your background hasn't always been in film. As I understand, you've got quite an education in another arena and worked in another arena. Can you talk about a little bit about your background, what brought you into film? That's a huge change.
Well, I was trained chemist or scientist. I am still chemist. I'm still scientist. I work in my own company now, and so I got my education in chemistry, in both in China and in America. And but I always love the movie. Always love the movie, because a movie to me it was a combination of everything. It's like combination of storytelling, acting, uh, uh, the picture, arts, everything, the costume. So, and also to me, the film is the only thing you can carry around the world to let different a group of people to watch it. This is nothing like that, and it's only thing you make your audience to sit down there 2 hours in the dark room to hear your story. That's great thing. I always love it. Always love it. So that's why to me that also is something to do with chemistry, right? Chemistry is you make something out of nothing, basically. You always make new things, very creative. Film is same thing. You make something out of nothing. You gotta be creative. So I start making movie about what 14 years ago. Yeah, 14 years ago. Started write the script, being producer. So I always been the script writer and producer, and I start direct my first film about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and the title is Nirvana. It's also screened in your festival, AWFF. By the way, AWFF is great festival. I've met with a great idea behind it. I really enjoy it, and so that's how I started. The Nirvana, and this one is my first short. Trapped is my first short. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I never thought of that comparison, but yeah, creating something in chemistry or creating something on film, yeah, making something new out of some other parts. Love it. I've got a question here that I'm supposed to ask you. How realistic is the movie compared to the real life of the guy?
Well, basically, if you put that way, basically all my movies are concerned about the reality of China society. All my movies, and so that's why my 5 movies of mine was collected by the Chinese Film Museum. They collected 5 of them in one shot, and the reason they told me is after 40 or 50 years, when we watch, if we want to know what happened 50, 40 years ago, what it's like, China like, we watch our movie. So that's how we look like. So that's most my movie is about. It's about the reality, about the real society, what is the problem in the real society. Because I think people not live in the vacuum. They live in the real world. They have all their frustration, their happiness, their sorrow, their anger is related with other people, with the situation they're in. It's not in the vacuum. So that is the reason I I always focus on the real world. Yes.
Okay, let me see if I've got
But
another.
interesting enough, I had another movie, which you can find on YouTube, but somebody put on YouTube. I didn't do it, but that movie maybe have no English subtitle. The movie called Fall of Ming. Ming Dynasty.
Okay.
That movie is about the collapse of Ming Dynasty. That movie is really about pandemic also. You can see that too. It really is about pandemic. It was the first such kind of movie in China, The Fall of Ming. Yeah.
When did you make that?
It's about 2012, 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. That movie is now very popular in China. It's very popular. Many people watch it. It's like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
As the collapse of Ming Dynasty has had something to do with the pandemic, with the flu. Yeah.
Okay. And the shooting schedule for that one versus this one, I mean, a period piece like that, how long did it take you to do that movie?
You mean Fall of Ming?
Right.
Oh, that's a big one. That was a big one. That's like took me two some month. Yeah.
Right. And this one?
But this one's short. It's like for 5 days. Yeah, because this one you don't have lighting because you can't, the guerrilla style, you can't have lighting, so you just use natural light, right? So
Right.
that saved a lot of time. And for this the art is very simple, so I do it real quick, real fast.
Okay. I saw a lot of your team doubled up on different things, like the lead actor also was a unit production manager.
Oh yeah, the leading actor, he's not a professional actor, but he has been playing acting in my movie many times. He's a great actor, but he's not a professional actor.
Right.
So he's a professional production manager. So he has been with me as actor and production manager for many movies. But this one is a leading actor. He's great. He's doing a great job.
He did an excellent job. Yeah.
And basically everybody in my crew are in the movie. They're all acting in the movie. Because you have a mask, right? You have an eye cover, and you have a uniform. Basically, you don't need to do any acting, and people can see you. And if you watch it carefully, I use them several times. One person, but you can tell because all covered up, right?
Yes.
So the people will have the guerrilla style. You can only have that size of people. So we have everybody in this crew, actor, just except me. Everybody's actor and the crew member.
Right, and I believe all of them. They all did a good job. They really did. Of course, the lead actor had so much to do, but he did a wonderful job. And I've got a question from Mark Choi about, is the film a real depiction of what really happened? For example, wouldn't they make a single exception for anyone? Was it exaggerated to support the movie, or was that it was? No, there are no exceptions. Bam, bam, bam. There's the laws. Get out. Was it that strict there?
Almost. Yeah. Almost. You can't get in. You can't get in. There's no choice. You just can't get in. You can't get through. You can't get through. That's very strict. Very, very strict. There's no way. Even like you go home, you forgot bring your cell phone, because cell phone, they can track you, right? They will know who you are. If you say, I forgot cell phone, you can't get in. It was like real hard.
Wow. Rules
you
are
have
rules.
to prove many take a lot of effort to prove who you are. Then okay, next time don't forget your cell phone. If I lost it, well, I'm sorry, can't get in. So So it's like, I mean, Chris, you put yourself in this situation. It's just no way. I mean, who you'll fight for, right?
Right.
Nobody say I'm not the one to make the decision. My boss did.
Right.
My job is you can't let you in. It's the only way you do.
Right.
This is you have no way you can do. What can I do? You know.
I understand that. We actually, you probably are familiar with it too. There was a famous experiment we did in this country, the Milgram experiment, where they tested to see how much control authority had over people in giving pain to other people, to see if at what point they would stop. Supposedly giving somebody electric shocks to help them.
Well, Chris, I understand what you are saying, but what I'm saying is a little bit different. It's sort of, well, I consider the pandemic is like a war. Okay, it's not a normal situation. Just think about you are in the Second World War. All of a sudden, the war started, right?
Yeah.
You go nowhere. You know, you go somewhere to shoot you. It's sort of like you wake up in the morning, the war started. That can impact on you mentally and psychologically and physically.
Right.
So what do? So to me, the pandemic is not just disease; it's a war. You know, it's the war in a peaceful time. You cannot see the enemy, but it is. So my movie is like a trap in a war situation. Mm-hmm. Like in a war, like in the Second World War, all of a sudden you're the most loved person, your brother, your father, whatever, you just lost. Second day morning, you lost. Right? It's the same thing. You know, you cannot see them anymore.
Right.
Like see now, no matter how hard I try, my daughter cannot come back to China. It just what do you do, right? Like now, if Japan say America cannot get into Japan, let's say you have your lover in Japan. Now what do you do? No way. You just can't go. You know, then you can come to America, no visa. The embassy is closed. So what do? And she's sick. You want to see her the last day you want to see her. What do? You can't do anything. So you feel like you're powerless, you're strengthless, you're mentally break down. Then in this extreme situation, then what do? You die, or you cry, or you want to somehow manage yourself to go on. That's how my movie about. Mm-hmm. You know, I just imagine myself, which I have never been in my life, in that situation, in the wartime. What I'm going to do. You know, that's a movie about, really is.
So it's about what humans do in extreme circumstances, how they continue to survive.
Exactly. What do you do? Yeah, you are in this situation. Not what do you do? Yeah. It's like I want to see you in Los Angeles, have a coffee again, but I can't. Right. Just basically, I can't do it. I'm not allowed to get into America because the old Chinese not allowed to get into America. Then we had a coffee last year. Now I can't.
Right.
Now who separate us? Who? Government? Well, how come they did not separate us before? Now it's pandemic. Mm-hmm. It's enemy. It's a war.
So the rules change, and then you have to go with that.
That's right. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yes.
Well, the movie certainly proved that. I mean, it was a wonderful experience. I mean, And Mark Choi said something. He said, I was quite interested and invested in what would happen to the main character. It happened in such quick time. I also had fun watching it, knowing what we all know now. But yeah, how's he going to do this? How's he going to do that? He had such tenacity and such humor and such frustration. He did a wonderful job. A question about that. Now, where did he, for 5 days, he's in that lot, or the last few of the days. What about food and water?
Well, in the real situation, in reality, or in the movie?
Well, you're a very detail-oriented gentleman. I know that, and so I'm sure you must have thought about that in the movie. What about it's time to eat? And in 5 days, how do we show, or is it necessary to show that this guy somehow gets water, or gets food, and is still okay?
Well, he's in the parking lot.
Right.
He is in the parking lot. So the parking lot, the gas station is still open.
Okay.
So you can buy the cup noodle and water from there.
I got you.
But you just can't get out. The gas station, people work there. They have a special permit. They can go home.
I see.
But he doesn't have it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So he can buy cup noodle, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there an anecdote that you'd like to share with us? A good time or bad time, surprise, something there that gave everybody a lot of joy or a lot of frustration in your shooting?
Well, that's to me. This movie is a very unique movie to myself, because it was shot in this unique time. I think many years after I watch this movie again, the memory will come back. That's what I think. And also, at the time I shot this movie is in the March of this year, which is like what, 9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
9 months passed. The whole situation in the world has all changed. 9 months ago, America is not like this today.
Right.
The whole Europe is not like this today, not nowadays. So we have seen, as I said, this is a war. When this pandemic, this virus is like an enemy from somewhere in the outer space, whatever, to attack the human being, then you will see the human being in different part of the world. What is their response? And their response will have like the impact on political, racial, economically, everything. So then we find ourselves all of a sudden exposed to this weird lighting. You know, your darkness, your positiveness, your everything was exposed. So how do we manage to live in this difficult time and learn from it and keep up with it and stay alive and stay hope? That's different thing to me. That's very interesting thing to me.
I'm sure it will fuel more movies, Xiaodong, for you. I
Yeah.
look
Yeah. We'll do it. Yeah, that's a power of movie, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful to see you, and I really appreciate your time, and certainly wonderful to see the film, and everybody I've spoken to also loves it. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.